Good morning. This webinar offers closed captioning. To enable closed captioning, click on the live transcript button on the bottom of your screen and choose your preferred method. Welcome to the City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection webinar. Please note, any website or email that I mentioned will be posted in the chat box. For those seeking business license assistance, you can visit the Small Business Center here at City Hall or call 312-74-GO-BIZ. Also, business license can be applied for or renewed online at chicagobusinessdirect.org. If you are part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. To learn more about this program, please visit chicago.gov/business education. This webinar is being recorded and will be available at youtube.com/Chicago BACP. We encourage all attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box to send your questions. There will be a Q&A session at the end of this presentation. Please note that the views, information, and opinions expressed during this webinar are solely those of the presenter and do not necessarily represent the official policies or position of the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection or the City of Chicago. Today's webinar is entitled Business Enterprise Programs for Minorities, Females, and Persons with Disabilities. At this time, I will now turn this webinar over to Irma Lopez for us to begin.
Good morning. Thank you, Stella. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I've seen many of the participants are already familiar with me. My expertise comes from serving 30 years as a state employee, and my last few years were as outreach manager for the state's business enterprise program. Currently, I am program coordinator for a grant awarded to the Chicago Minority Supplier Development Council. My program is called the Illinois Coronavirus Response and Relief Business Center. And we serve to help people with guidance, information, subject matter expert webinars and such to keep you informed and guide you through any existing grants or upcoming funding opportunities. So I provided a intake form in the chat after this event, if you wouldn't mind submitting an intake form so that you could be a part of our database and receive any future notifications of events and resources. So today we're going to speak about the Business Enterprise Program for women, minorities, persons with disabilities. It's a state certification program, and it also oversees the Veteran Business Program for veterans and service-disabled owned small businesses. The biggest factors to consider yourself eligible are: number one, your business must be at least 51% owned and controlled by either the woman, the minority, or person with disability or veteran. And that could be comprised by more than one individual, as long as those people fall within that category of woman, minority, or person with disability. But it's also very important to know that you must have control of day-to-day functions of that business. So it's not enough to say I am 51% owner. They will look into how it is in control and you manage the day-to-day functions of that business. You must be a U.S. citizen or resident alien, and your business cannot have made over $75 million in revenue. So, it's my understanding it's probably the most generous in terms of size limits for government certifying entities. Keep in mind that just like any other certification now, everything is paperless. However, the state of Illinois certification is free of charge. Used to be you have to submit your application via mail, get it reviewed, and sometimes these things get lost. Keep in mind that this is in part a way to protect the sensitive information that you're submitting. You're not having to worry about, did we receive it in the office? Did it get lost? Did somebody intercept it? It's a way to maintain security over the sensitive information that you're submitting, but it also provides a live progress of how you're doing with the application, because it's going to tell you at what percentage you are. And at the same time, it provides for a better communication between you and the office that is certifying you or their analyst. So did you know, just the BEP, as well as any other government entity, has billions of dollars available to spend with these minority certified businesses. So think of anything and everything that a human being needs to exist. Somehow the state of Illinois has to purchase those goods and services to provide them to the people that depend entirely of the state. The first thing I think about is the Department of Correction, Then you have Department on Elderly, you have the DCFS for Children and Family Services. So just about anything and everything that you could possibly sell, the state of Illinois is going to buy it. I used to say the state buys everything but liquor, but somebody corrected me because the state does buy liquor on behalf of the Illinois state-funded higher education or universities throughout the state. So these are the industries that are currently the highest. It doesn't limit it to what we actually buy, but these are the highest spend in the state of Illinois. So you have health, IT, equipment and commodities, construction, professional services, and gold and food. So you see that the state has a 20% aspirational goal to spend on anything and everything within their budget, excluding exclusions. So we're still talking billions of dollars. So for example, if you don't understand what the point or what the purpose of this 20% goal on a contract is, take, for example, a $1 million contract for construction to come out and, replace doors at a university. That contract, if it has a 10 to 20% goal, I'm going to say 10 because I'm not the best at math. So let's say that $1 million contract has a 10% goal, and Walsh Construction, as an example, gets this contract. Walsh has to figure out how to spend 10% of that contract, or $100,000, by subcontracting certified women, minority, or person with disability owned businesses. That is in a way to provide you some, foot in the door to start your own growth, to get you some opportunities, and so that big company does not absorb all of these contracting opportunities. So it's a way to kind of spread the wealth. You start small, and it's also in an effort for you to build capacity. So capacity is at what extent, at what amount can you provide the goods and services that you do as a business. There are 5 procurement bulletin boards with the state of Illinois. A procurement bulletin board is where the state or any other government entity is going to list all their upcoming contracting opportunities. The state of Illinois has 5. It's probably the one that has the most, but it's broken down like this. BidBuy has over 60 agencies listing there, and that's where you're going to find DCFS, Department of Corrections, CMS. The next is the Illinois Public Higher Education Procurement Bulletin. That's where any and all 4-year state-funded universities will post contracts. And what I mean by contracts is anything over $105,000. The next is a tollway. Those are your roads. They have a lot of ongoing projects, multi-billion-dollar projects. They also handle DBEs, which is not something that the state of Illinois processes under this program, but your DBE is your disadvantaged business enterprise. And that's where you're going to have more opportunities into dipping into anything that is federally funded. So a contract that has so much as $1 of federal funding, they're going to require you to be DBE certified. The next is IDOT, or Department of Transportation. Much like the tollway, they're also running very large multi-year, multi-billion-dollar projects. And then last but not least is your Capital Development Board. They handle anything, any upward structures, buildings, bridges, that type of thing. Keep in mind, you do not have to be certified to start looking into these opportunities. I always recommend that our vendors kind of go in there and do some shopping around. You want to see who's buying what you're selling. So if I'm selling, let's say doorknobs, I'm going to go into BidBuy and enter the commodity code for doorknobs and see how many contracts have come out, who's buying those, who's selling it to the state of Illinois. And you may have a potential opportunity to reach out to that prime or that subcontractor to partner or offer your services. Maybe you could provide equipment to assemble it, to transport it. There are many ways for you to participate in a contract as long as it is a commercial useful function to the contract. So I highly recommend that you start looking at these procurement bulletin boards, go in there and see who's buying what, see if they're buying on a cyclical basis. Maybe you get ready for next year to start your preparing to start competing for these contracts. And don't worry about taking notes. If it's okay with Stella, I will this will be available to all on this call, this presentation. However, if it's not available through the city, I'd be happy to provide it once we're done with the presentation. So don't worry about notes. So I know I mentioned commodity codes. The state of Illinois is unique, and it's very frustrating as it's the only one that uses NIGP codes. The city of Chicago, Cook County, federal government, they use NAICS codes, which is spelled NAICP. NIGP code is a separate set of commodity codes, organization or coding service. So what it is, it basically identifies the goods and services that you provide, almost like a magazine code. So you want to make sure you identify what it is that you provide as a business and select as many as you are capable of providing. So you're free to submit the world of commodity codes into these procurement bulletin boards, but you have to be ready to submit proof that you're able to provide these goods. So I mentioned, this procurement bulletin board. What I forgot to mention is if and when you register with these, you're going to submit, your business information, but very importantly, your commodity codes. So going forward, anytime a contract comes up that includes those commodity codes that you registered, you will get an automatic email notification for you to review the contract and see if that's something that you want to participate in. So it's important to find your commodity codes, and those are available both in the bulletin boards as well as in the certification process. And I'm sorry if I'm making you dizzy with the back and forth. So there's 3 ways to get certified. The first one is full certification. That is good for 7 years. You're submitting a pretty extensive list of documentation. However, no matter how you get certified, you're going to have to be submitting something annually. So though the full certification is good for 7 years, every year you're submitting a no change affidavit. This affidavit states, I am the same owner, my business structure hasn't grown, and I haven't gone above $75 million size limit. Then we have a recognition affidavit. If you are certified with the Chicago Minority Supplier Development Council, Mid-States, or the WBDC, we recognize that you have been vetted by these organizations and you are provided a much shorter, streamlined application. These certifying entities are going to open up the doors to corporate opportunities. So BEP certification is for you to have an advantage in contracting with the state. These 3 listed here are, you pay for a membership in your certification application, but this is where you're going to get opportunities with the likes of AT&T, BP, Motorola, those larger corporations. They too are out there looking for vendors to increase their diversity spend. I mentioned DBE, or your Disadvantaged Business Enterprise certification. If you are currently certified by the CTA, PACE, or METRA, that also allows for a recognition, whereas you get a much shorter, streamlined application. CTA, PACE, and METRA also process and review applications to become DBE certified. Then you have your fast track certification. In the event that you are already certified with the city of Chicago or Cook County, it's almost an automatic certification with the state of Illinois. All they ask is that you submit proof of that certification and an affidavit that you sign, notarize, and submit into the system. Again, these are all these certifications that the state of Illinois recognizes, but they are not reciprocal. So you cannot take a BEP certification to any of these entities and be recognized. You must certify directly with them. So if you take the BEP certification to the city of Chicago, they're not going to accept it. However, you see a lot of assist and sister agencies within the city of Chicago that do accept it, primarily the Illinois community colleges. I'm sorry, not community. For the city of Chicago, we got Chicago Park District, Public Building Commission, City Colleges of Chicago, Chicago Public Schools, CHA, McCormick Place. These are, while I was with the state, they were continuously asking us for certified vendors to help them satisfy their diversity spend. So once you get your certification, you want to start reaching out to these websites and see how it is you could register to be considered for future opportunities. I am happy to announce that I recently attended a business enterprise program, or BEP, council meeting, and they announced that now the Illinois community colleges are mandated to increase the diversity spend. So now that opens up your doors even further, as all community colleges throughout the state of Illinois are working hard to increase diversity spend. And then towards the very bottom, you see Boyd Gaming. Those are all your casinos in the state of Illinois. They too are working hard to increase diversity spend. I was at our organization's annual conference at the Hyatt Regency on Tuesday, and the casinos were actively engaging with people selling cookies, a lady that decorates, events with balloons, business services, you name it. Everybody's trying to purchase from our certified vendors, because keep in mind that as a certified vendor, they see you as somebody that's been vetted by the government. We have established that you are a well-established business and you have the capacity, the capability to provide the goods and services that you've been certified. So certification is at the very least a very good credential to have. So these are some additional resources available to you free of charge. Your first one is your small business development centers. These are all funded by the federal government. The SBDC is also funded by the state's Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. This is where you can go and request help on your startup, how to start your business, or if you've already started, how to continue to develop it and grow it. You'll have a lot of resources available, whether it be your marketing studies throughout your community. One thing that I'll always share that was very impactful to me was a vendor purchased a brick and mortar, a store, because he wanted to set up an auto shop there. Found it at a great price, purchased it, only to find out later when he tried to get licenses that it was not zoned for that purpose, and the city was not in any position to change that zoning. So keep in mind that your SBDCs or even your chambers have their finger on the pulse of the neighborhood, of the community. Make sure you reach out to somebody to see that what you're doing is allowable, it's legal and all that. You also don't want to go into a market that's very saturated in wherever you're wanting to plan your business. SBDCs could help you with that. Illinois PTACs, those are your Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. They too are funded by the federal government and the state's Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. This is when you're a little bit more established. However, they do help startups. For procurement, they're gonna, once you start a relationship with them and they know what you're trying to achieve and what your business does, you become a part of their matchmaking database. So they will be churning out contracting opportunities in your email box that match the goods and services that you provide as a business. So this too is also a very great tool to utilize. Again, they're free of charge. And then you have your small business administration. They encompass just about anything and everything that has to do with small business. Don't be afraid to reach out to them. Start attending their webinars, visit their offices, go to their events. And I cannot stress enough how important your networking capacity is. Throughout my career, it's very important for myself as an outreach person to be able to know at the very least who to speak to, or people reach out to me for assistance. I reach out to others. You'd be surprised how your wealth could potentially grow as a result of your networking opportunities. Because, for example, let's say an agency cannot purchase what you're doing, but they know you're out there. They might recommend you to another agency because they are constantly being challenged with increasing their spend. So network, network, network. The state also has a small business set-aside program. This program is available only to small businesses based in the state of Illinois. This is not a gender or race-based program. Anyone and everyone small enough can register with this program. And this is where the state lists contracts under $100,000, or I think they lifted it to 105 because after 105, they go to the procurement bulletin boards. I always promote this as an excellent way for you to get your foot in the door of contracting. This might be a $5,000 contract to come out and replace a couple of windows or clean an office. And once you create that relationship, you create that reputation, you're the person that they think of. Keep in mind that oftentimes, depending on what you do, you may be called in to provide that service without them having to bid on it. So this is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of. Register. Again, all of these registrations are free of charge. So I think this is about it for my presentation. This is the website where you go if you want to scan it or visit the page itself. This is where you're going to go and start your application. You're going to create a profile, and start the application. The list of documentation is pretty extensive. When you're submitting your application, do not skip over things that you believe do not apply to you. Address each one individually. A common one is proof of purchase of your business. If you did not purchase your business and you started it yourself, create a statement and say, for this question, proof of purchase for business, you make your statement. I started this business. I did not purchase this business. Another one that challenges our businesses often is the proof of ethnicity. So if your birth certificate does not state the ethnicity of yourself or one of your parents, you could submit a copy of your parents' birth certificate. If none of that is available, you could submit a document. For myself, I would submit, I, Irma Lopez, consider myself Mexican-American, a Hispanic. Both my parents are Mexican immigrants. Whatever the case may be, you sign it, notarize, and submit it into the program. For those that would like more hands-on help, then I would highly encourage you to reach out to me. This is my email address. I would be very happy to help out. However, I am only with the Chicago Minority Supplier Development Council through June 30th. So until then, you could email me there or connect with me on LinkedIn. After June 30th, I will no longer be with the CMSDC, but I will always help you out. I never charge my vendors. I do this because I gained this experience while working for the state. And I do have a genuine passion to help our minority, women, persons with disability, and veteran-owned business. I really do enjoy what I'm doing. I'm not going to do it for you, but I would be more than happy to provide you any guidance, assistance, or advice that I could possibly provide that you may need with your business. Let me see, I think this is it. Yep, this is it.
Thank you, Irma. Let's see if we have any questions.
Somebody said, La Sylvia says, can you go back to the other slide? La Sylvia, which slide were you talking about? How long do you have to be in business? That's a great question. With the CMSDC, I believe they do want you to be in business for at least 2 years because it's you're working with corporate and want to make sure that you are fully, established and ready to do business. But please send me an email or connect with me on LinkedIn. But let me provide my email here. My thing is that the reason I say I'm no longer with the council is this was a 1-year contract to oversee this grant that is currently awarded to the CMSDC. It's a 1-year contract and then I'm done. You're free to reach out to me through June 30th, but if you don't catch me by then, by all means, reach out to me via LinkedIn. You see anything else, Stella?
I'm looking over the, I'm going through the chat now to see if I see anything.
Okay, Marquise Johnson, there's a lot of medical services that are being contracted. A great example is the state of Illinois, I believe, works with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So they have probably multi-million-dollar, if not billion-dollar contracts, and they're under a lot of pressure to spend with certified vendors. So Marquise, if you're not yet certified, I highly encourage you to start the process. Feel free to reach out to me if there's anything I can do to help out.
Webinar will be available for replay on YouTube.
Oh, Martin O'Shield, I really appreciate those. That's a very kind comment. I would be very happy to help you out. Marquise, I'm glad you feel empowered. This is the whole point of these programs. We want to empower you to grow and scale. That is the whole purpose of these programs, is to not let these great big companies encompass all opportunities, because that's what has happened in the past. The disparity. It's always an effort to remove disparity, but we have a long way to go. And your participation is the only way that this disparity could be, reduced at the very least. Jennifer, I'd be happy to provide anything you like. Keep my email handy. Like I said, I'm here through June 30th. So feel free to send out whatever request you have. Right now, I'm currently being employed by them, and this is what I do for them. But I provide my LinkedIn information because should you miss me after June 30th, I want to stay connected with you. Stella, would the presentation be shared with them?
Presentation will be available on YouTube, on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/Chicago BACP.
Okay. So everyone requesting the actual presentation, please email me. It would be much easier for me to provide it to you in an email, but please email me. And my friend Hugh Cooper, he has been so supportive of the program. And most importantly, it really warms my heart when I see that vendors are actively pursuing all these resources. And then as a result of, COVID, these resources have exploded. Surely, slowly but slowly, surely some of them are expiring or have exhausted the resources available, but keep looking. You'd be surprised how many corporate and private institutions, not-for-profits, are providing assistance, maybe not in funding and actual, capital, but there's a lot of trainings and valuable subject matter expert topics put out there that could potentially help you. I have learned so much as a host of these webinars through the program that I'm currently overseeing, that you just, when you think you know a lot about something, you realize that you still have a lot to learn. And I learned something from you as our vendors that ask me questions, as well as these subject matter experts that cover things I hadn't thought about. Is there an advantage to being a business versus a nonprofit? That's a great question. It's a very sensitive question. I was in an event where a gentleman put it very upfront and kind of harsh. He kind of mentioned how not-for-profits are set up to run by contributions, grants, some type of government funding or donations, whereas a business is working hard and paying taxes. And that's where the difference is. A foundation is looking to, a not-for-profit organization is working to, you're still working. I'm not taking away from the fact that you're working hard. However, you are not paying taxes. That was the biggest difference that was submitted, that was presented in this event that I was at, because I don't know much about not-for-profits. I do know that they're almost not allowed to get certified. So the certification is usually an attempt at helping small businesses grow. So Marquise does have a supplemental healthcare staffing. Who buys these services? You'd be surprised. I'm talking Blue Cross Blue Shields. You're talking Illinois community colleges, the higher education. They may need somebody to come in and help them staff their, I don't know, the reception desk to providing healthcare services. I don't know, I'm not very healthcare savvy, but I can just imagine how huge the health industry, because it's the #1 listed in the state. That's who the state of Illinois spends most of its budget on, is on healthcare. And especially now with the pandemic, that blew up even further. So it's just a matter of getting certified, identifying what it is that you do, and then go in and search who's buying what you're selling. No, nonprofits cannot apply for certification, Cherise. It's only for-profits at this point. So what I'm hearing more and more of, these nonprofits are splintering up and creating a for-profit business to kind of offset the economic impact that you have suffered at this point. But you have to be very careful. You want to hire a professional accountant or attorney to make sure that you're doing it right and that it's going to serve the purpose you need it to, that it's going to benefit you, both the business and the not-for-profit. Oh, I'm sorry, Sharice. Yeah, I didn't realize that you pay taxes on a not-for-profit, but still they want you to be a for-profit. And as far as I know, I can speak for the state of Illinois, and I believe the city of Chicago, Cook County, and the CMSDC. You must be a for-profit. I'm not sure about the Women's Business Development Center. I can't speak to that, but I have been informed that the majority of them for certification, they want you to be a for-profit business. Employment staffing services, who is buying that? Everybody. I know when I was with the state, at some point, we always had some type of temporary staffing service. It was usually for like your reception office or people for data entry and the likes, because it's hard to temp at an agency if you don't know the industry or the services that you provide, but that it's not limited to just receptionists and data entry. The commodity codes can be found, and let me see if I could. So the commodity codes, it depends on who you're going to get certified with. And I don't want to mislead you. I want to make sure that, for example, with the BEP, Stella, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sorry, this is where you go to get certified. It's the portal, and I'll provide that in the presentation. It will be a link for you to just click. So normally see when you get certified, you're here. This is where the agencies are gonna come to look for you. But not only agencies, while I was with the state, I would have corporate call me. McCormick Place would call me and say, Irma, I need somebody to provide, disposable utensils. So I'd go in here and check to see who had disposable. So this is where you're gonna go. So you're gonna start your application here. You're gonna check off what you are. You're a minority. You're gonna check off. Let's check them all off. So I'm a woman minority business enterprise if I were to apply for a business. So I go here to select. So I do business consulting. And I do consult just to make sure anything with consult comes up. And you see, this is my commodity codes. So I would add, I also do veteran. So I go up here and it shows that these are the commodity codes I'm looking for. So that identifies your community. So as a business, I would go here. And it tells me I have 37 firms that are women minority business enterprise certified to provide those services. And then you could go in there and, learn a little bit more about them. So Latanya is at TNA. So it gives a lot of information, no proprietary information. That is only the analyst reviewing your application is going to set eyes on it. So it gives you some information. She is certified as a business consultant and an education and training consultant. So those are her commodity codes. Also keep in mind when you submit your application, and this is why I like to provide as much information as possible before you apply, because once you submit your application, if something is either incomplete or incorrect, they're going to start a communication for you to submit the correct information. And now your application has made it to the bottom of the pile. Now you're gonna have to go and scurry and get this stuff in because they give you a deadline. But that doesn't mean that if they gave you a deadline for tomorrow, that doesn't mean they're gonna look at it tomorrow. That's your deadline. They're gonna get it whenever they get to that application. So always make sure you have somebody help you through those requirements before you submit to ensure you're submitting as accurate and complete an application. Guadalupe is saying to up view the screen. Is everybody seeing the screen okay? And Marquise, how do I connect with the chamber? Which chamber would you like? There are many, many chambers in the state of Illinois.
It doesn't look like we have any more questions. I'm trying to give them time to.
Okay, were you able to see my screen? Because I have a couple of questions asking that they couldn't see the screen.
Yeah, I can see your screen. Fine.
Okay, or yeah, all right. So are you watching are you seeing the BEP portal?
I'm in the chat box and then I'm going in. Now I'm in a Q&A box.
No, I'm saying on the screen. Can you see that I'm sharing the BEP portal?
Oh, no, I don't see
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry. How do I?
I just see your presentation.
I'm sorry. I was waxing poetic on how to identify your commodity code, and I thought I was sharing my screen.
Yeah, I still just see your LinkedIn. So you came out of the full presentation mode, but you're on the last slide. You're on slide 14. That's all we can see.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah, now. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
All right, I'm just gonna go quickly. I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't realize that you weren't seeing this. So I'm in the portal. This is the portal, and this will be included in the presentation. I come here. So I'm gonna check all of these off. I'm gonna leave that I am a woman minority business enterprise. So this is for myself, and I wanna see what my commodity code is. So I'm gonna put in business consult. And I'm going to search. And these are the, so this one has become inactive. I'm going to do these two. I go back up. I confirm that I have my 2 commodity codes listed here. These are, if I were to get certified, these are the commodity codes that I'm going to utilize to be certified for. So you go towards the bottom, you're not a robot, you search. There's 37 firms currently that are woman minority owned certified businesses. So I showed, let's do property blessings. It shows you who they are. Jashar, I know Mr. Jashar, he's a wonderful young man. His contact information. And this is what he's currently certified for. So Jashar, I don't know why he's a woman. I know very well he's a nice gentleman. So that's beyond the point. So you get the idea. This is what people, how you find your certified, your commodity code, but this is how others are going to find you. So when the state puts up a notification for contract, the system automatically reviews people certified or registered with the commodity codes. And then you'll receive an email notification. I'm going to look for staffing services. So no, it's like a flag staff. So I don't know how to make a play on words. So a staff didn't come up. Another good example that I often talk about is we had a vendor, we had a company call us looking for a stenographer. And they took us, we all knew we had stenographers, but we couldn't find it. It wasn't until somebody recommended to search for court reporters that we realized that, you know, there was a way that there's different ways that you can identify what you're doing. Okay, Marquisha and Lakeisha, it depends on where you're at. So send me an email. I'd be happy to, because I am connected with a lot of the local chambers. I'd be happy to identify the one closest to you or the one closest to wherever it is that you're trying to open or run a business. You're welcome, Lakeisha. Any other questions? Would you like me to bring up the, I hope everybody got my contact information. I will start, submit it here again. And then if you would please submit the intake form that I included in the chat. That will help us stay in contact with you. You'll be receiving any notifications for events, resources. We put out a pretty nice newsletter whenever I receive notification of any upcoming grant opportunities or whatever. Did I put it in the wrong place? Here, I just put it up. I just put it up right now. One that I can think about was Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell had a really great grant opportunity, and I believe that he just recently extended that the deadline for it. It's called Black Ambition. So if you just if you Google get Black Ambition Prize, so they're selecting Black owned and Latinx owned businesses. Let me try the form again. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm sending it to the host and panelists. I apologize. Here it is. So there are a lot of resources out there that you could potentially take advantage of, but it's part of our job to collect as much of this information and send it out to you. Thank you, Lakeisha. You guys helped me rock. So it's as a result of working with so many of our small businesses that I have been able to learn. And it really has, I retired 2 years from the state of Illinois, and I thought I was going to, fade off into the distance, but I really can't quit you. I really, really do love what I'm doing. I really do enjoy seeing our small businesses grow and thrive and scale. I have a fashion resale. Will this program help? To be perfectly honest, Nicole, I wouldn't, because I don't see the state of Illinois bringing you in to do business with them. Maybe as a small business, and I wouldn't lie to you either, to going into a corporate certification, but I don't see corporate coming out to you and asking to provide goods and services for an upcoming awards ceremony or the like. The certification, I would, if you would like to do that, I would encourage you to go with the free certification, which is a state certification. It's just a way of having a great credential. It's a great way for you to just put that on your wall. People say, wow, you had to go through the ringer with the state of Illinois to demonstrate that you are a well-established, well-run business. Is anyone else having problems with the link for the intake form? It's working for me. Try it again, Marquise. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Marquise, I did give you the wrong one. Thanks for bringing that up. Is it still giving me the? There it is. My apologies, people. Sorry about that. That last link is the correct one. Anyone else have any questions? And I don't know if you can unmute yourself or not.
Irma, I can unmute them if they're raised their hand. It looks like you have someone whose hand is up. I am about to unmute this person.
I see somebody has their hand up. I see Therese has her hand up, but I can't.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I'm unmuting
Oh, okay,
her.
okay.
Hello.
There she is.
Hi,
Hi.
Therese.
Hey, so I put in the chat if I could get a vendor's license. Oh, excuse me, vendor's license.
Okay, with who?
I believe the state.
What is your business?
It's a nonprofit. That's what I just put in the chat.
I don't see how you could get a business license if you're a not-for-profit.
No. A vendor, like VENDOR.
With the state of Illinois?
Yes.
Okay, send me an email. I'll look into it. I could reach out to my old colleagues at the state and see if we could help you out.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have another hand raised, Melissa Johnson. I'm gonna allow her to talk.
Hello, Irma. All I want to say is I worked with Irma. I graduated from the VACP, and she is everything that she's saying that she is. And I'm looking forward to working with you again in the VACP. I actually graduated in November 2019, before COVID.
Congratulations, Melissa, and it's high praise coming from you. It's been an honor to work with each and every one of the vendors that I have worked with. I take great pride in what you do, because it takes a lot of courage to be a business owner. It's very easy to say I'm going on my own, but it's a lot more than that. You have your future and your success on your shoulders. So I give you all a lot of credit, because you're all not only having to maintain your business and try to get it to grow and everything, you have so much other things to have to consider. You have to be compliant with whatever government regulating industry that you're working with. You might have your licensing and your permits in place. So I give you all mad credit. I don't know how you all do it, but thank you, Melissa. I look forward to continue working with you.
Me too.
Have another hand raised, Sharon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi,
Go
Sharon.
ahead.
Okay. Hi. My question, you mentioned Black Ambition Prize. Could you talk about that a little more? Is there a web?
Yeah, you know what? They presented for me some time ago. It's just a program that is providing, actual grants and funding to businesses. The one thing that it kind of caught me off guard is that they want you to be in partnership with somebody, whether
They want you to collaborate with someone?
most likely, but not only collaborate, it's almost like a partnership, like where you're actually in business together. So that's one of the things that I wasn't too crazy about, but they have 2 grants. They have 2 things going on. And I can't for the life, I'm drawing a blank, but let me see. Somebody has brought it up. Let me see if I could share it. Can everyone see that now? Can you see my screen?
Startup for Black Ambition Prize.
Yes.
I see it.
So this is what it is. And this was put together by Will Farrell and his team. You know what, while I was presenting with this person, I'm such a, scatterbrain. I kept calling it Will Farrell. So they took them correcting me about 3 times that this was not Will Farrell. And this is Pharrell Williams, is it? The Black artist, please forgive me. I'm the worst when it comes to celebrities.
Pharrell Williams.
Okay, so I kept saying Will Ferrell, right? I'm sorry. So Black Ambition, bold ideas and companies led by Black and Latinx entrepreneurs. It's reducing the barriers to capital and bridging the wealth gap. Provides applicants with resources and access. Join the wave of efforts. Oh, and one thing that I do remember that stands out about when they presented for us, you submit your application, and let's say you don't get awarded, they will send you a checklist of what it is that they think you could do to help you, bridge those gaps or to better your business and hopefully have you better prepared for the next one. So I believe they also do like a one-on-one consultation. So it wouldn't hurt to apply. It's free, and you never know. And go in there and do a little bit more research. You see these other 2021 winners. So she here is, so these are for people that have attended historically Black HBCUs. So this is a separate grant opportunity. But this one right here, it's mostly they want you to be in partnership with someone. So there's, it wouldn't hurt. It's a great opportunity for you to apply. And if it's free, I always tell people just go for it. Worst case scenario, you wasted a little bit of your time, but at the very least, you tried. But this one does give back no matter what. Like if you apply, it'll tell you this is why you didn't qualify, and we we suggest you do the following. So this is it. Any other
I see we got a
questions?
few more hands up. I'm going to allow Jamie to talk. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Okay. Hi. First of all, thank you for your time and your information. My question is actually about the form itself. Question 1 has an asterisk, but no question. And then question 2 just says bell, but no question. So I don't know if that's bell
Let
ambulance,
me.
bell pepper, bell whom the bell tolls. Which,
And
I don't know.
which form is that? Is that the intake form?
Yeah, the one that was just sent. So the one
wonder
that I
what's-
saw didn't have a didn't have it 1 and 2 weren't didn't have any questions. Which if I can just put N/A, that's fine.
Oh my
But right
God, I
there.
don't know what happened. I'm
Yeah.
seeing it now. I gotta report this. This is not good.
Yeah,
No,
And I'm
thank you
not
for bringing
sure-
that to.
no problem. And I'm not sure above there. If you scroll down a little bit, I don't know if that information right there is an example or if that's somebody else's actual information.
No, it looks like somebody was able to get in there. I don't know because this is a password protected document. And
Yeah,
I
not
don't know what
anymore.
happened.
Okay.
To all that are, wondering what he's talking about, I asked, normally when I do presentation, I ask people to submit this intake form, but as you can see, he's right. You got somebody went in there and was able to get in. And I'm not blaming or accusing anyone. It could have been a fluke and they were able to do this. So I will be reaching out, or once we email each other, if you have any questions, I would ask you to submit this for us.
What is your actual email?
It's Lopez at Chicago, the whole word spelled out, MSDC, just as it states here, MSDC, Chicago MSDC.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We still have time for more questions. I'm going to allow, I hope I'm saying his name right. Last name Johnson. Let's see, it should unmute. There it is.
Hello. Hi. No, it's Marquise.
Okay,
Hi.
Marquise. Okay.
So the question I wanted to know is about the program. I know that you and Melissa were talking. She said she graduated from that program. Is there a way for us to find out about that program?
Stella, that's your BACP program?
Yes, it is. The BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program is a program that is in partnership with CIBC Bank. Once you've completed 9 webinars, you will qualify for a low interest rate loan, pending that you meet all of the bank's requirements. So after each webinar, first of all, in order to sign up for the program, you send an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. and you say, hey, I would like to sign up for the Entrepreneur Certificate Program. You receive an initial email from us welcoming you to the program with everything that I just said, with all the breakdowns and how it works and what your next steps are. After each webinar, it is your responsibility to send us an email saying that you attended today's webinar with this person, with this presenter, and you would like to receive credit. You do not get credit for watching the webinars on our YouTube page, because we do have a way of checking attendance to see if you was really in the webinar on the day that it actually took place. So you only get credit for live webinars.
Okay, because I've attended numerous webinars since I started seeking my business as a healthcare staffing agency. And I would see people saying that you like email for the credit, but I didn't know what that was in reference to. So thank you so much for giving me that information. And I would like to sign up for the program.
Email. Send it to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org.
Thank you.
Welcome. We have another hand up. It looks like Sharice is not accepting. We'll just go to another person. I don't see any more hands. Nope.
Stella, somebody requested your email is, I have bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org.
Yes, that's it. That's correct.
Okay. So I just sent it in the chat. I'm
It looks like
excited
we're
to see.
done.
Yeah, I'm excited to see people are interested in your program. That's huge.
And it looks like they want you to post your email one last time.
Good thing.
So Irma, thank you for today's presentation. Thank you to all of our attendees. To find out more about our upcoming webinars, please visit chicago.gov/business education. Chicago.gov/business education. To sign up for our Entrepreneur Certificate Program, please send an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. Everyone go out and enjoy this great weather, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stella, for the
Thank
opportunity.
you.